Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and dear newlyweds. Welcome to another video of Julius Wedding MC. And today we're going to talk about how to find the right wedding MC for you and what questions to ask. Now, I'm hopeful you're not going to interrogate and grill the guy too much, or the lady, but it's good to have some pointers and some talking points. So let's start at the beginning. The first thing to consider is, what personality type does your wedding host have, and how does that apply to his wedding host style? Does this match to who you are as a couple, to what you want for your guests, and your overall vision for your special day? Very important things to consider. If you have the vibe that the person is very open-minded and very flexible, you might even think, okay, that's a red flag for me. I want someone who has structure, who's not flexible, who makes sure we get exactly what we have planned. That's possible. On the other hand, maybe you want someone who is really flexible and really adaptable, because you want to have the safety net that no matter what happens, the person can react very well. And of course, you can usually get a vibe off of people, how they are and how they talk about their profession. So be sure to ask them about, can you describe a situation that has been kind of spontaneous, something you didn't expect, and how you managed to overcome it? What assets do you feel, or even if they cannot name a specific situation, just to ask them, like, what are the qualities that you have that you count on to kind of be able to respond to difficult and strenuous situations? Because that's of course not with the aim of grilling them, but just to say, hey, we know that your job is important and sometimes tricky. Like, how do you manage the stress of it all? And I think when you pose the question this way, the person will feel respected, that his work is respected, but at the same time that you're really curious to learn more about them. I'm pretty sure they'll be quite happy to answer. We have discussed the importance of the personality and the wedding host style, and this quite closely links into their flexibility. But I'd like to think about the flexibility and adaptability to your wedding program wishes. Now, we know that there are people in life who are very strawman-like. So they have a strawman argument, or they have a fixation or a fixed way of doing things. They're not very keen to go outside of their comfort zone. But maybe that is the key to them being very good and excelling at what they do. So if you have a reference of what someone has done and you see they do it really well, sometimes it may be a better idea to just let them do their magic and work their magic. But maybe you yourself know in your heart of hearts you're a very quirky person or a very quirky couple, and you would like to spice things up. So you need someone to match that energy. Now, the very strawman person could also have the adaptability to match your desires, but they might not. So when you're faced with this situation, you can have a look at maybe a more bubbly personality type, a more outgoing personality type, a little bit more easygoing personality type, who will be really responsive to your new ideas. Someone who's not really scared to go against the grain, someone who's not really scared to break the mold, go outside of their comfort zone. I, for myself, have found being open to new ideas by newlyweds has actually enhanced my game quite a bit. And even some of my favorite activities at wedding events now have originated as ideas from newlyweds. So there's another plus to this teamwork of sorts, where if you have a lot of ideas and you find a wedding host who's really open to them, and you can together just fix that final version of that activity you would like, or that vibe you would like, so that it's really a bit more of your flavor, but also gone through the prism of experience and knowledge of the wedding host, then you're most likely onto something that's going to be successful. So that's a little bit about how it's important to find someone who is adaptable on the one hand, but at the same time has very strong principles that have helped them be successful over and over again and deliver a great service. So make sure you find your balance depending on what your desired outcome is. Let's talk about sense of humor. Now, that's a very important topic because a sense of humor tends to be directly linked to the likability of the person and also to how gentleman-like they are. As we know, some people can be really playful, tongue-in-cheek. Other people can be a little bit more crude, and some people are in between. And as a wedding host, you'll be surprised you have a full array and full range of all of these types of sense of humor. While it's all fine and good to have your own personal style of humor, it's of course important that this is rooted in respect, that it can be felt, and that you're not on the verge of saying something that someone might find offensive. Even if it's just a passing joke of like asking someone like if they've not had too much to drink already, that can in some cases be scandalous and taken really, really badly. But other people have guests who are like from a background where such type of humor is really absolutely fine. So it's very important to consider you yourself, your sensibilities, and the sensibility of your guests, and what kind of person, sense of humor, likability, and personality type will match to their taste and your taste as well, to make sure that everyone really feels at ease with the wedding host, who is alongside you one of the main faces of your wedding, who's there of course not to take away from your shine, but is always there to relay the attention from themselves onto you. So it's important that that person is someone you like as a person, and that hopefully your guests will like too. The last thing I would like to draw your attention to is their general manner of work, which incorporates their availability, concentration, creativity, and dedication. So a lot to unwrap there, but if you have someone very creative, maybe you'll come up with a very original program or ceremony script. If you have someone who's very available, you'll feel more at ease, and you'll have a bigger opportunity to work as a team to make something more bespoke and personally tailored to your taste. Otherwise, you might get a vibe that someone is not that available. Again, let's not assume the worst. Let's not assume that that means they won't do a great job. Maybe they will. Maybe they're not available because they're in their high season, and they're just kind of going through the motions, and they have a specific time frame within which they work based on how many weeks there are to go before there's the special day of the relevant couple. So there might be a few reasons for that. But generally speaking, if you're not finding yourself in the high season of weddings, which typically is the summer, and you find yourself communicating with a person maybe already a year in advance, and they're not particularly available, and they haven't really conveyed a reason as to why they're not, or like just sorry for getting back to you late, or just acknowledging that, you know, this is very important for you and you're expecting their feedback, which is invaluable as well. Something to consider, whether that would be an amber or red flag for you, really depends on what the person has already shown that they are able to do for you, whether that be from references that you've researched, maybe a Trustpilot page, video you've seen, or a recommendation, or what that the person has started out really well, but they seem to just be not available for a short period of time. Can happen to all of us, of course, but just be sensitive on that. You will get a good idea of how available people are right away within the first 1 or 2 weeks of just having a constant back and forth with them. So I would encourage you actually to test it out and really like just write every 2 or 3 days to the person. Just test out how responsive they are. It doesn't have to be anything too specific, but just see their tolerance of staying in touch with you. because the last thing you want is to have someone that you truly depend on to have a great wedding experience to not be available for you. This will cause you a lot of stress, and you know, it's something that you can hopefully avoid. So some questions to ask are, what is your wedding host style? Like, how do you like to host your weddings? What is important to you so that you can do your best work? How flexible are you with regards to the wedding program? Are there things that you feel must be incorporated, or are you very flexible and have a more modern approach that's less traditional and more open to new interpretations of how a wedding event should go? Of course, it's not very reasonable to ask what your sense of humor is, so instead you can ask the person, what are the tools that you use in order to connect with the guests, because we want to make sure that our guests will feel at ease with the wedding host. And last but not least, ask simply, how is it best to work with you? What information do you need from us? And what are the time frames within which we should expect to work together more actively? And that way you'll get a really good idea of what the framework through which this person works is, and assess if that works for you. So if they say to you, hey, look, take it easy until 4 weeks before the wedding event, there's no need to plan anything, it's quite easy, I've been through it many times. If that's their attitude, if they're dependable, you can decide to count on them, and that's fine. But if you yourselves need more attention a bit earlier, just for that peace of mind, just to be able to see the whole picture wrap out in front of you. In this case, just ask directly, hey, would you be willing to start working on the wedding program a little bit earlier? Because it's something very new to us. We might need a little bit more time to decide what we would like to have, and we really need and would appreciate your feedback in advance. So then you can see how available and flexible they are to work together with you within the time frames that would be most suited to you. Thank you everyone for joining me in this video once again. Please let me know, what questions do you think you should ask your wedding MC before making the final decision as to who should host your wedding? Is there something I missed out? Was there something that I didn't mention that you had not thought about? I always try to have a very detailed and hands-on approach, so hopefully I gave you a few good ideas that you can implement. Let me know in the comment section down below what you will be changing in your approach when you're looking for your wedding host based on this video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with a friend that might be planning their wedding soon. And of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Welcome, you'll be one of the very first people to like this channel. And I don't know, hopefully you'll benefit from it. Let's see. I'm always open to your feedback and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Enjoy your planning.